Okay, so I've talked before about how I actually don't ship Elain and Tamlin at all. I actually think it would be a disservice to both of them to ship them together. But about the heartbeat through the stone, I don't think it's Lucian's. I don't think it's Tamlin's. I don't even think it's Asriel's. I think it is the heart. It's either the heart of the land, of like the heart of Prithian, that isn't the cauldron, or it's this motherfucker. So for those who haven't read Crescent City, without any spoilers, there is a character called Adis or Idis. I can't pronounce that. And he talks to Bryce and can appear in the form of a white cat. He plays a big part in the Crescent City series. And while we don't have any confirmed presence of this man in the ACOTAR universe, I do think that we can infer that he is there. Part of Silver Flames, where Nesta is working in the library, and she goes just a level or two down, and she starts to hear something, and Gwyn's like, get the fuck out of here, get the fuck out of here, this is not good, we are too far down. And Nesta's like, I gotta shelve these books, and she's like, leave the goddamn books, we're getting out of here. And when Nesta asks what Gwyn saw or what she felt down there, Gwyn says something like, it felt like there was something watching us, like a cat. Which I didn't think anything of it the first time I read it, but reading Crescent City and then reading A Court of Silver Flames again, I thought of this guy. And it would make sense to think of this guy specifically because when Bryce asked to go to hell, like the realm of hell, so that she could find out like what's going on with the Asteri and like all that whole part of the plot, she ended up in Prithian on Asriel's doorstep. So we know that Hunt is the product of some sort of unholy combination of his parents' genetics and the demon prince's input DNA, whatever. Like, we know this. We also know that Adis talks to Bryce and like they have a rapport. And when Bryce asks to go to hell, she's sent to Prithian, but she's also sent right to this man's doorstep. And I've mentioned before in like previous videos that I think that Asriel and Hunt are related in the same way, in that Asriel's whole backstory could be attributed to the fact that the demon princes also had a hand in his heritage and his DNA, the way that they had a hand in Hunt's. And if Bryce has a direct line to Adis, not necessarily because of her connection with Hunt, but I'm sure that helps, it would stand to reason that Elain does too. For one, we know that Elain has a lot of unidentified time in Akasif, where she's out there living her life, and we as the audience and the characters even, they're not really sure what she goes out and she does. We also know that she's a seer. She is more attuned to things that are not necessarily of this world and of this plane of existence. She could easily have a direct line to Adis. And it would bring together Elain and Asriel and Bryce and Hunt beautifully, because both Elriel and Brycelar, is that what it's called? Both Elain and Bryce were in the position to choose who they ended up with. And Bryce did. She chose Hunt, and Hunt turned out to be her true mate, like her partner. And while I don't want Asriel and Elain to be mates, I want them to choose each other. Elain and Asriel are in the position to choose each other in the way that Bryce and Hunt chose each other. And I think that that would be a really cool parallel, and it would match the parallel that Bryce and Elain would have, having this connection to this demon king or demon prince that had an active hand in bringing the great loves of their life into the world. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I want it. That would bring in the crossover stuff a lot more organically. I think that we've had it before, and it would work really well with the themes that we have already. So to bring it back to your Stoneheart question, I don't think that it's Tamlin. I think that it's this fucking demon Catman.